Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This is Hawk Talk with Jensen. Presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Also brought to you by 988. There is hope with a 988 Lifeline. Call or text 988 for free, 24/7. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Honda, to see how Honda crushes the competition, see your local Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest. Oak Knoll, an active life care community powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Here is your host, Rob Brooks.
And we welcome you to our first show of 2025. Happy New Year to all as the Hawks started 2025 with a New Year's Day victory at Penn State, a road victory in the Big Ten, 80-68. Big fourth quarter in State College, 25-13. The Hawks outscored Penn State, then came back with a spirited second half against number 8 Maryland, but wasn't quite enough to overcome number 8 in the country, the Maryland Terrapins, and the Hawks now stand at 23 in the country now in the AP poll, so still right there in the top 25, 12-3 overall, 2 up and 2 down at Big Ten play, and hit the road on Thursday night. A trip to Champaign, Illinois to take on the Fighting Illini, then back inside Carver Hawkeye Arena on Sunday. Can't wait for that, a showdown with Indiana. Of course, several ways to connect with us tonight on Hawk Talk, as our Twitter handle is @Iowa_Learfield or hashtag Hawk Talk. Facebook, facebook.com/HSP Learfield. The U.S. Cellular text line is 319-853-8344, 319-853-8344. And you can also use email as well, hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. If you have a question in the audience, I already have one. feel free to come on up during a break, and we'll get your question on. Well, Happy New Year once again.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Good to see you. Long time no see.
That's right. Just about every day, every night, huh?
I don't mind
That's
it.
the way it is
You're
this time
guy.
of year.
You're a good guy.
It was a terrific atmosphere yesterday, wasn't it?
It sure was.
We're used to it here, but you never take it for granted.
I wouldn't say,
Boy,
I don't think
it
get used to it.
No.
But it is really, really special, and I'm just so appreciative, and appreciate all the people coming out for the radio show, too. I really thank you for that. Our fan base is like no other. Very, very grateful.
And, of course, on Lisa Bluter Day, and it was great to see Coach and then all the letter winners that came by. Nice halftime celebration. You didn't get to see it, obviously, but all the former players came out and kind of went into a line cool. And met Coach Bluter, and then got a nice picture with a lot of the team photos of the past in the background right behind
cool.
her.
Really cool.
The good stuff that day, too.
That's
well
awesome.
deserved, by the way, right?
Oh, my gosh, absolutely. Absolutely. She's forever the GOAT, for sure.
No doubt about it. And, road victories, Coach, are really difficult in this league, as you well know. And Penn State got off to a little bit of a slow start. And you knew, and we talked about it during the pregame show, after Penn State got beat pretty bad. The game before, that can always make coaches a little bit nervous, because you certainly know that, okay, as a competitor, you're going to come back and put your best foot forward. And Penn State did, and it was a close game for 3 quarters. And then, that fourth quarter, really a big spark, outscored the Lions 25-13, and got a 12-point victory.
Yeah, any game in the Big Ten, it's hard to win, and when you win it, you just find a way to do it, right? And especially a road win. And, we just had started a little bit slow in this game, too, and we'll talk about the Maryland slow start as well. But I just think after I saw I watched that Minnesota-Penn State game, I think 2 things are true. I think Penn State had just a horrific game, and, sadly that happens on occasion. And I think Minnesota's very much improved and pretty doggone good. So I was, going into, Penn State, as, always, cautiously optimistic. And they played a lot better, and we took their best punch. But I really liked, how we finished the game. And I think it's, all about, how you finish. And our team has been finishing pretty doggone well. We just, we've come up short in, 3 of the games. So.
The one thing, too, that I saw, you got down in that first quarter 24-15, but really no panic, and plenty of time to come back and just kind of chipped away, just like you did against Maryland, but then had a really good second quarter at Penn State, won that one 23-12, and then it's a brand new ballgame.
Yeah, I think this is true, but you cannot stat it. There's no metrics for it. What I've been telling the team, and I told them again today, especially the new 5, I said, you're guilty by association. Even though you did not play in the last 2 championship games of the NCAA tournament, everybody sees you as that team. So everybody's like, well, got the lights out. Penn State, man, they don't shoot like that. It doesn't matter. They're playing a team that had incredible notoriety last year because of Caitlin Clark and company. Everybody that we're playing knows she's gone, but the coolest thing is that the reputation remains. And we're just not quite seasoned enough yet to really fully understand that if you even think about going back on your heels because you have a weird turnover or you didn't maybe understand what defense we're in, and then you get a little surprised look on your face, the other team is going to come at you hard. And I think when I've watched the games is there's just a little bit still of that uncertainty. We're still getting our footing. And what I've talked to them about is like, we have our footing. We're good. We're a good team. There's no time to like kind of drop our head or wonder because everybody's just going to keep coming at you. And now when we're in the Big Ten, the stakes are higher, and the teams from number 1 all the way down to 18 are collectively much, much better than anybody we faced in the non-conference. So my hope is after experiencing what we did at Penn State and coming out a winner, experiencing what we did yesterday, and then sadly coming out a loser, is that the point, will really be taken that, hey, we got to be aggressive and we got to pounce and we got to withstand everybody's best shot.
The other thing, too, is you have at Penn State 4 players in double figures. And as a coach, the superstars, you knew what Caitlin was going to bring. You knew what Kate Martin was going to bring. It was going to be consistent in every night. Here, there's kind of a different star that shines in a different ballgame. Taylor McCabe was just huge in that Penn State game. When you needed a couple of threes to go down, it seemed like that kind of calmed everybody down, ended up with 17 points on 5 of 8 from behind the arc.
Yeah, I mean, she was the difference maker, huge. She was a big key. Tegan Mulaney had 2 huge plays. One was a 3-point play. I thought her play was really, valuable. But certainly Taylor was the one that swung at that game. And I think that continues to be, the fun part of this team is when all of you people show up, you don't know who's going to be that shining moment. Are going to have that shining moment. So I really do think that's a fun component of this team, and I'm really happy for Taylor too that she's had 2 out of the last 3 games have been pretty good for her.
Yeah, 33 points off the bench against Penn State. You had 46 points in the paint. Hannah had a double-double with 13 points and 10 boards. Addie had 16, and then Sydney had 7 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, and just 1 turnover. 24 assists, just 12 turnovers at Penn State.
And, that's been the last 3 games we've been playing pretty well. Or I think we'd had 3 games in 20-plus assists. And that's good for us. That's Iowa basketball. Yesterday, we only had, 11. And that's because we're turning it over more. And we're not looking for our teammate as much. But a good defensive pressure team kind of makes you feel a little bit tighter, and you don't always have the openings and the gaps. And that's, with Penn State, they weren't quite as good defensively. They press more. We handle the press decently, which is great to see that progress. But Maryland's just quarter-court defense is so much more ominous, and that's where we just really struggled. And, I really wasn't trying to enter the ball from the wing. That was really not happening. And I kept telling them that I wanted them to enter from the top of the key. That's a really good angle for Addie, but we just couldn't get that done. But we've been working on it the last 3 hours.
I did see one time where Hannah did get the ball at the high post area, and it was a really easy entry into Addie. So to your point, that one.
And I just we just got
one
to do
wasn't
that
enough,
more.
right?
Right, absolutely.
But the rebounding, and we talked about it in the pregame show, where Maryland number 4 in rebound margin in the country, and you ended up out rebounding the Terrapins 44-41, and really in the second half did a much better job in the first half, especially not allowing them to get second and third chance opportunities.
Yeah, I mean that was a big reason why we were able to make a comeback that was almost epic, right? Almost epic. But I was really pleased, and that's what this team has done is every game that we've played, they've just never, ever given me that deer in the headlight look. That's like, oh, boy, I can't hardly hear what you're saying because all I hear is what's in my head. I saw moments of that in the first quarter, lingering into the second. But, man, they dug down and they really responded from halftime, and that's why I really enjoy coaching them. I think now, I challenge them is like, you can't just let that, really bad. It's the first bad half we've had. And I can think of 2 or 3 bad halves we had last year, really off the top of my head. They were just bad halves, really bad. And, this was the first one, in all the games. We've had not great moments. It wasn't really pretty maybe at Tennessee game or whatever, but I said, we're on to something. I didn't like it all what I saw the first half of Maryland, but I was in love with what I saw in the second. So we just have to make sure that I got to keep figuring out how to get that second half team there, right? That's the trick.
It's 40 minutes, right?
Right.
Not 20. And in the Big Ten, obviously, you have to play close to 40. But to Maryland's credit, boy, did they shoot the ball well. Some wide open, some contested, but 5 out of 10 in the first quarter from 3, and then made 4 in the second, and that can be deflating too.
It is. Yeah. And we messed up our assignments. We weren't really in our right defense. But again, it goes back to, they were lit. Raina left work on Saturday a little bit before I did, and she texted me that Maryland was practicing, and she heard blaring in Carver the Star Wars theme music. And we've all done that before when we were getting ready to go play on the road at a tough environment. Now I'm so thankful because of all of you listening and all of you here tonight. We don't have to do that because we're used to that.
Right.
But it's a weird thing. I can't explain it. Is all that crowd, right? You're used to it. But when you're tight, there's a sense that you're letting everybody down. I could even feel it yesterday. I'm like, my gosh, I got the goat here, right? It's like this is going south in a hurry, and I want this crowd to get into it.
Outside pressure.
Yeah, and I think you come in, you're a little loose when you're an away team, and you kind of want to shut everybody up. And so if you have some missteps like we did, and it's really wide open for an average three-point shooter, and she sees that first one go down, then you kind of open yourself up. So Maryland's a really good team. They're definitely 8th in the country. They did what they had to do. Credit them. They took us out of it in that first half. But a good team is going to make some uncontested threes, and unfortunately, the first few they took were uncontested, and then all of a sudden they hit a couple of their contested ones too.
But to add on about how proud you were in the second half to hold Maryland to just 11 points in the third quarter, 15 in the fourth in a tight ball game, that says a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's what this group's. They're gritty, they're resilient. They didn't want to go down like they started the game, and I think that's going to bode really, really well. And I told them, I said that this season there's still so much of this runway left. I told them that before the game, whether we win or lose it. I didn't really speak of that. I just said, regardless of what this outcome is we have to just use whatever it is. It's going to be a lot more fun if we win it. But now I told them, we got to use that second half and know that we're on to something.
Yeah, and that's the key thing. Take what happened, the good parts, especially in that third and fourth quarters, and push forward, knowing that, hey, you could play like this home or away.
Absolutely. And it'll be a big road game test for us on Thursday because I think Illinois and us probably are 2-2, aren't we? Both of us have the same record, so we both want to kind of get back on the right track. So we'll see how we can bounce back.
It'll be here quick.
It will be here quick. Absolutely.
As you well know, and we are off and running here. Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen. We've got a lot of questions coming in, so you can certainly join us on Twitter at Hawkeye_Learfield or hashtag Hawk Talk. Also the U.S. Cellular text line 319-853-8344. Throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you to Iowa's corn farmers who lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org to learn how corn grows Iowa. U.S. Cellular is a proud sponsor of the Hawks as well and want to make sure that you make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling later. U.S. Cellular is built for us. This is Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen from Learfield.
Did you know that UI uses the same amount of energy as all the rest of Iowa City? That's why we have our own power plant, and we're committed to making it clean. By 2025, we'll rely completely on climate-friendly, alternative fuels. Deep in the boiler rooms, engineers from the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative are optimizing the power plant so it can handle these new fuels more efficiently. Learn more about it at uiowaenergycollaborative.com. That's uiowaenergycollaborative.com.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oak Knoll is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffrey. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
People are having a hard time containing their excitement about the new Holiday Scratch and Instaplay tickets from the Iowa Lottery.
Holiday tickets? I love these!
Especially when they find out you can win part of over $1 million in second chance cash prizes when you enter any holiday ticket in the Iowa Lottery's VIP club.
$1 million? Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. Cash prizes are coming to town from the Iowa Lottery.
Woohoo!
See rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
I'm Nick Jackson. I play linebacker here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, I drop in coverage.
Third down 11. Straight back to pass to Sullivan. He's running for his life. Down he goes. That's a loss of another 6. Nick Jackson.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Welcome back to the Hyatt Regency. Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen. As we told you, Iowa still in the top 25 after going 1-1 this past week. And as we talk about every single week, of course, the Big Ten is just up and down the top 25 with 4 in the top 10, 7 teams in the top 25 with UCLA checking in at number 1. Got a chance to watch them over the weekend, and there's a reason they are up there at the top spot in the country. USC at number 4. Maryland checks in at 8. Ohio State at 9. Michigan State at 20. Hawks at 23. And then Michigan at 25. So 7 teams in the top 25. And it'll be interesting when all the Big Ten teams and other conferences start playing one another, that who can kind of emerge and stay near that top 25, which means you're certainly in the upper half of the conference. Let's head to our text line. Kevin wants to know about one thing that he's noticed is the bench is always in the game, right from the opening tip to the final buzzer, and that's for sure. And just asking about how close this team is, and really enjoys watching Kylie and Ava's intensity on defense. And boy, Kylie was doing everything she could there in the fourth quarter defensively as well to help the Hawks, and just loves that effort 100% of the time.
Yeah, well, Kevin, thanks for observing that. And that's one thing I think has always kind of been a hallmark of our team. I feel like the bench is so closely involved. And, one of our core values is that everyone matters. And we really try to coach to that. We recruit to that. And we try to be true to that when we do recruit them because, most everybody comes in here an all-state player. Most of them are all first team, and many of them are all Americans. And it's just, when you get here, all of a sudden, there's people that are a little better, and they've never been better. And you have to kind of go through some soul searching as a youngster, because it doesn't feel good to not play, the full game and whatnot. So when we do hit that sweet spot where everybody, has that role acceptance, and, they're also ready. Yesterday, AJ
Right.
Ediger, I put her in because AJ is one that will rebound, and she didn't back down from anybody. And she'll just go and she'll throw an elbow if she needs to. And I thought she did a really nice job when she went in there. And I told her today I really appreciated that because she may never get in for a long time. But she was ready when we asked her to go in, and I think that also contributes to them being on the bench. They do know that, I do see their strengths, and when that particular strength may be needed, I got no problem going to it. And on top of that, they're just really great young women. They come from really great families, and despite how disappointed they might be sometimes inside, they wish they were playing more, they're always for the good of the group.
Well, to your point, AJ played 5 minutes and 4 seconds and had 4 rebounds and immediately grabbed one within the first 10 seconds she was in.
Exactly, and I think that was the first half didn't go great for us, but she went in there and stopped the bleeding for 3-4 minutes. So I was happy about that.
Michelle in Moline, after the loss to Maryland, he remained 23 in the AP poll. And does that have a positive impact on your approach? Obviously, you like to see your name there. It's good publicity, but it's only January, of course. But I think it shows that, hey, a top 25 team, a top 10 team, you lose to them, it's really not going to affect you much.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we came back in that second half the way we did, it kind of settled, right? And I think partially was because people do respect Maryland so much. And, if you've watched some of Maryland games, they have that effect on people. And then we were able to stay steady and then really come back and make it a game. So, yes, it's nice, but you can't really – all the polls are great, but what really matters is where you finish at the end. And so the approach of this week, I guess I was thankful that we didn't drop out. And I don't think that loss should have made us drop out. But what you have to remember, there are other people all over the country that are doing things. Like sometimes you might win, but you might drop because the person below you just knocked off the number 1 team in the country, right? So that they drop or they jump you even though you won as well. So there's a lot of subjectivity to it. So it's great for recruiting, yes. But I feel like it's still pretty early that I'm proud of it, but I don't think our players I think they're proud to be a top 25 team, but their biggest concern right now is how do we beat Illinois?
Absolutely. It makes for good coffee talk. And as you mentioned, there's some publicity.
Yeah. I want to be there.
Talk about that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Michelle, yes, I definitely want to be there, but it doesn't come into my daily being every day. If we weren't in it at the beginning of the year and then we got in it and we've stayed in it, I'd love to keep climbing and never drop again, but it's not my daily motivation. It's part of it. That comes into play later on somewhat in the NCAA tournament seedings. But really the rankings are a suggestion of what poll voters. But what really matters is what that NCAA selection committee is doing. So the wins that you have, the margin of victory that you have, if you win on neutral courts, you win on the road, you win at home, all the things. That's the really important piece of it. So as long as you're in the top 25, it gives you a little bit more confidence that the NCAA selection committee will look at you positively too, because you're doing your share of winning. And hopefully, if you follow it, there's quads 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's why it would have been a heck of a win yesterday to get that. And that was why it was a heck of a win for Maryland. It was on the road, and we're a pretty good team. So a lot goes into the top 25, but really the seeding is a different metric.
And you've got all that figured out, right? You sounded like you do.
Yeah. It's got to sound like you know what you're talking about.
There you go. Let's go to the U.S. Cellular text line. Chuck in Des Moines had Lucy Olson and Sydney get into double figures, but that was it. But Lucy, I thought, really late in that second quarter, maybe said, hey, I've got to get going here offensively, and tried to make some shots, and she did, and seemed to give you a little bit of momentum, even though you're still down going into the halftime break.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, it was nice to see Lucy get a few more of the shots going. Yeah, she was, the lid's been kind of on the basket for her the last couple, so that was nice. I mean, Sid was solid. But the one that was the tough one was not having Hannah's usually in there. Right. And so that was just, unfortunately, Hannah just had a tough day. I think she was 1 for 8. So that was the surprising thing is, she got uncharacteristically, she had those 2 fouls, that wasn't, normally Hannah and her decision making. So that probably would have made a little bit of a difference if we could have had her in double figures as well. We usually always really want to have 3. It'd be great to have 5. We're really cooking when we have 4. So when you have 2, it's dicey. And obviously when we only had 2 yesterday, it didn't work out so well. But the bench came in and had some good minutes. Aaliyah Guyton, not afraid to go to that hoop. Has some beautiful takes to the basket there. Yeah, she's just a really nice player. And I think she's growing and learning. She's coming back from that knee. And so we have to be a little bit careful as we're coming back. She's getting more and more minutes. And so we're monitoring that with the training room, but she just has a good sense and a good IQ and is able to do some things that no one else on our team can do. And as you said, a lot of times that's her, quick little take and fun little move to the hoop. And another key 3-pointer that she knocked down as well. Yeah, she, it's really nice. She has great D and she has a good sense to pass, but she's got a beautiful shot. So that's what's nice. I've been trying to work her a little bit more in the off-guard position to play alongside Lucy, so not just to rest Lucy. So, it's a little bit harder than everybody thinks because a lot of the sets that you run, there's specific plays that the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you have to be careful with a younger team to put too many of them in too many different positions because it might seem easy to everybody, like, oh, you can just memorize that play as the 1 and memorize the play as the 2, you'll be fine. But that can really make your lineup all of a sudden a little bit herky-jerky. So I've limited the plays that she's had to learn at dual positions and trying to do that with some other combinations. So we need to kind of start honing in on what kind of lineups we like and when we like them. But I feel like we're hopefully getting a little closer to that. Yeah, Aaliyah, now 12 out of 20 from 3 this year, so a great percentage, and just a beautiful job going to the basket offensively as well. Oaknall's mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City area for 57 years. Oaknall is conveniently located near the University of Iowa Healthcare Campus, Kinnick, Carver Hawkeye, and also downtown Iowa City. A proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Visit oaknall.com to learn more. And we are at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar right here in the Iowa River Landing. Has a brand new menu as well. Some exciting new features that are locally inspired specialties like cornbread shortcake, harvest flatbread, pork belly ragu. We are excited to certainly try some of these out here over the next couple of weeks and many other options as well. So try something new each and every week here at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. And we will take a break and have more Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen from Learfield.
Hey, Hawkeyes, while your hard-at-working class are on the court, there's a team behind the scenes making sure that the power keeps going, the water keeps flowing, and the temps inside are just right. Introducing the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative. The collaborative is a public-private partnership between UI, NG, and Meridium. It delivers the funds UI needs to drive our academic and research excellence while optimizing campus utilities for a generation to come. Check it out at uiowaenergycollaborative.com.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. You'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever. Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oak Knoll is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you get an HMO network that includes over 32,000 providers. Plus, you get support from a company that's been serving Iowans for 85 years. Now, those are some impressive numbers, and that's health coverage you can feel confident in. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
More Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar here in the Iowa River Landing. Appreciate everybody once again coming out for our first show of a new year, 2025. We'll be right back here next Monday, January the 13th at 6 until 7. Two other games in the Big Ten tonight. UCLA is at Purdue, and Wisconsin continuing their western swing, as the Hawks will do coming up here in another week or so, as the Badgers are at Washington tonight. So two games on Monday night in the Big Ten. When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. The University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org. Of course, that Western Swing is coming up. Iowa will be at Oregon on the 19th of January. And then a late start here anyway for the Washington Huskies on the 22nd. So Oregon at 4 o'clock Central, and Washington at 8 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock, of course, on the West Coast. Before we get back to the Twitter line, Coach, we had a question in-house here about coaches' challenges. You know, you see it in other sports, other leagues. Do you think that's ever going to be a possibility where you'd be able to challenge a call maybe with inside of 2 minutes?
You know, there is, we've experimented with some rulings, but you really rarely are able to risk it, in my opinion, because we only get, 4 timeouts, but you can have a person on the bench that has the game, that's being filmed, and if you want to question something, but by the time that you can really go back and have it watched and see if you got a shot, it's not like football when, play stops and you're sending in a play and it's the pace. This is like, boom, a slap, a block, it's out of bounds. They save it, it's going down, and then you're like, what? But if you don't have a certain amount of time when you throw the penalty flag, you'll lose a timeout. And so I think a lot of us, we haven't really chosen to do it. I know there's a new rules committee. In fact, I have a conference call with our governing body, and I think coaches from the Big 12, actually. And we're going to be hearing about some new potential changes, and I know this is on the docket. So that was a couple of years ago, and I don't know if everybody just – I don't even think anybody's did it. Maybe Ohio State did it to us once, challenged it. Oh. But, yeah, it's a work in progress, and I think it's being talked about again.
What about the block charge now? near the basket, underneath the basket.
That's all gone.
There. Right,
yeah.
I know.
So that little circle.
Semicircle doesn't exist anymore, even though it's there. But now it's just like the circumference of the rim.
Circumference, and if the player, if they believe they get set before the player leaves the ground, it's just it's always and forever going to be a judgment call. And this is kind of interesting. It really hit me. You can send plays in afterwards, like if you don't like, you're mad about a call, let's say, or you're like, how did they miss this, or why is this not a moving screen? So after every game, you can take the clips and send them in. And a lot of times I'd like to send in especially moving screens, because that just irritates me, right, when a team moves a lot. But there will be sometimes, you're like, how'd they miss that travel, right, or da-da-da-da. And, I'm new at being the head coach sending it in. So I actually emailed afterwards, and I said, hey, I just want to make sure, are we on the right track? I've been part of this for, 24 years or however long we can do this. And I asked her, I said, what annoys you? I looked at the list we sent in, and there was 2 I don't think that we should have sent in, and I kind of apologized because it was kind of hard for me to tell. And she actually said, I appreciate that. She's like, what is really irritating to us is when people send in a travel, and if you guys have to watch that travel 5 times in slow motion, do you think that our referees are going to get that exactly right? And when I read that, I thought, you know what? So now when I'm rewinding a play, is that a moving screen and moving, and I have to rewind that myself? I'm like, you know what? How can I expect them? Maybe in real time it looked like to them, or did not look like to them. So that is now, after I calm down, is that when I'm looking at it, I'm like, how many times I have to rewind that? But, I don't think I'll have to rewind too many from yesterday. Send them in.
They were good to go, right?
I'm just kidding, refs. Don't find me. I will send them in, but don't find me.
And 2, I think especially when you look at the traveling, it's interesting too, because it seems like you'd be at one game and all of a sudden there's 5 in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. And then other games, you don't have any for 3 quarters. I don't think it's.
There's a ref that we have nicknamed Traveling Blank.
Yeah.
I just know when he's on the game, we call him Traveling Blank name because I don't want us to get on him.
And it's like within the first minute, he establishes it.
Yes, and it has no bearing on the move or the play. A lot of times the NBA, I heard it explained one time, they don't really call travel if there's no advantage gained. Now, granted, we watch the NBA and they travel 6 steps and make this amazing dunk, right? But overall, like if a guy he has a little rocker step, shuffles his foot, and then he passes, they don't do that. But man, some refs is just like, anything. And then some refs, we teach a hop step on a shot, and you'll get a couple that call that a travel when it's kind of a new way to teach a hop into your shot. Granted, sometimes if you hop too late, it can be a travel. But when this is the consistency, of which, let's say Gabby did her shot, then you hit a ref and, it calls it travel every, 3rd or 4th time, that can be frustrating because the rest of the country hasn't.
Yeah, I think that's what coaches have a tough time with. Is it's not one time. Was it close? Was it not close? Is there 4 or 5 of them right there that, okay, this really doesn't need to be called at half quarter when you're 35 feet from the hoop?
Yeah, and so interestingly enough, on the proposals I mentioned to tell you about with the person who asked about the challenge is, you're supposed to get 1 hot stove touch. So when I'm guarding you and I kind of slap you to kind of just like let you know you're there, you're supposed to get 1. So then if they hit you again, foul, right? Or if they kind of ride you again, foul. Well, a harder aggressive team, that should be a foul all the time, right? And some of it, though, I'm okay with 1 couple times, but if they're 1 and then they really ride you, hit you a couple times and then they're kind of shoving with you and they don't call that. Well, there's one of the proposals is to allow the slap as long as it doesn't affect anything. I'm like, well, that is going to be real interesting. Slap, upside your head. Oh, it didn't affect the play. You know, it's like, what? The slap doesn't affect anything. The way the verbiage was, it kind of cracked me up. So I think the intent of it is, you know, don't be like, you know, it's like when you're arguing with your brother or sister when you were a kid. Don't touch her, and you're like, you know, it's like they touch him once and then they kind of touch him again to see if the ref's going to do it. I think they're trying to help the refs with that type of those type of shenanigans.
Yeah, you see those really aggressive defensive teams, though, and they'll be pushing and shoving and then knock you through screens.
Right.
And the thing about it is that the referee will blow the whistle maybe 3 or 4 times during the first 5 minutes of the game. And then you just feel like they get sick of it.
Yeah.
And then just let it go.
And then you let
otherwise,
it go.
we're never going to get out of here.
Yeah. So it's just, there's a, and this might help with that kind of thing if you're really battling a team that does that a lot, you know.
Well, that's good news, huh?
Yeah.
On the horizon,
well, it should
for
be.
sure.
It should be. But sometimes I've gotten it in my favor because we don't do that. So when a team does do that and you get a ref that calls a little tighter, you know, overall, I like it called more tighter than I do looser, just because we don't play that aggressive, in-your-face type of defense. But, you know, you do have to adjust, and, you know, we're a work in progress.
Oak Knoll's mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City area the last 57 years. Oak Knoll is conveniently located near University of Iowa Healthcare Campus, Kinnick, Carver, downtown Iowa City, and a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics and certainly Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen, which will return after the break from Learfield.
Did you know that UI ranks near the top of the EPA's Green Power Leaderboard with 84% of our energy coming from renewable sources? Now you can be a part of the team that makes it happen. The University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, with our partner, NG Iowa, is offering full-time positions in utility operations for our campus and hospital water, heating, steam, and distribution systems. Check out the jobs and apply at uiowaenergycollaborative.com.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oak Knoll is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffrey. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
Time now for the Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield Health Coverage Report. When you enroll in a Wellmark individual or family health plan, you get an HMO network that includes over 32,000 providers. Plus, you get support from a company that's been serving Iowans for 85 years. Now, those are some impressive numbers, and that's health coverage you can feel confident in. Find the right plan for you at wellmark.com/covered. Enrollment ends January 15th.
I'm Y.A. Black, defensive line, Iowa. On the field, I take on double teams, stop the run, and sack the quarterback.
Sullivan now runs for his life, and he's obliterated by Y.A. Black. Here's the snap, the spot.
Yes,
and it's blocked it. Kick is blocked at the line of scrimmage. Don't touch the ball. Hawks get it back. Y.A. Black, that man, what a momentum shift there.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
Not all internet is created equal. It's a lot like choosing a quarterback. Technically, you could sign up any new rookie provider on the block, but the success of every device in your home depends on it. Will they perform in the clutch, or will they buffer under pressure? Extreme provides the speed you need with a 100% gigabit technology network and amplified Wi-Fi. And unlike signing a quarterback, Extreme Internet requires no contracts. There's only one pick to lead your team. It's Extreme, powered by MediaCom.
Welcome back for our final segment of Hawk Talk with Coach Jensen. 2 big games for the Hawks coming up, as it'll be at Illinois on Thursday night. That is a 6 o'clock tip. We'll be on the air across the Hawkeye Radio Network with the pregame show at 5:30, and then right back inside Carver Hawkeye Arena against Indiana, 2 o'clock. So another big week, but that's the way it's going to be. And Illinois, now you talked about Minnesota, an improved basketball team, and the scores certainly proved that out as Illinois lost at Minnesota 68-61, but 11-4 on the year, 1-3 right now in the Big Ten, but 9-1 inside the State Farm Center, so they've been very good at home.
I know. That's they're a concerning team because they definitely have it. They have it when they got it all going in the right direction, and I'd feel just like Shauna Green's feeling. I'd feel a lot better if it was at home, just a lot more confident. But you don't play all your games at home in the league, so you gotta be ready to roll. And they have a kind of a smaller lineup. Their starting center is 6'2". And their power forward's about 6'2", 6'3", but she doesn't post up. She shoots threes, acts more like a guard. And then they got three really fast guards. One of their best kids, one of the best kids in the conference, has been hurt, but I always count on them playing for the game you're going to face them. But that's Micaiah Cook. And so I'll be interested to see if she shows up in a uniform or not. But they got a point guard, Jensen Bryant, who's a transfer from NC State, who does everything, shoots the three, penetrates coast to coast. They got a small forward I really like out of Minneapolis. She's a senior now, but we recruited her. Her name is Adelia McKenzie. Powerful guard. Goes downhill on you in a blink of an eye. So we're going to have to handle a lot of actions. They do a lot of handoffs, dribble weaves, ball screens, a lot of screening. So we're going to have our thinking caps on. Yeah, they've got 5 players that average in double figures. And is it still a team that really aggressive to the basket? They don't shoot a ton of threes and don't do it great, but boy, they can get to the rim. Right, they get to the rim really, really well. And then they have their point guard, she's shooting about 36%. Hey, I take that out of a lot of my players. Their center, she can shoot at about 30%. And then their power forwards at 40%. So they're not right now. Leah's only taken 20, but she's 12 for 20. Nobody like that, but they've taken more of them, and I think they're solid. But you're right; it's definitely that drive and penetration. They go to the free throw line. They average making 17 free throws a game, so that's concerning. And I don't want to be in foul trouble, and you don't want to put them on the line. Right. And this may not be a top 2 or 3 place of difficulty to play in the league, but they get a pretty good atmosphere there. And we found out a couple of years ago how tough it can be. Yeah, it is. This is a good athletic basketball team. Yeah, we haven't felt the rivalry, but everybody else does. Touches your border. Minnesota feels it, Nebraska feels it, Illinois feels it, and we feel like normal. Like I want to beat everybody, but I think Illinois, this new coach Shauna is a native Iowan, does a great job. So she's got a little bit of a chip and gets them fired up. So they're a lot better. And when we come to town, we definitely get their best shot, and they get a really nice crowd. Well, it's like you talked about to the freshmen. Didn't play in the last 2 national championship games, but your jersey still says IOWA. That it does. So that's we're definitely going to get their best shot. So, but our team, like I told them today, one of my favorite quotes is, disappointments and setbacks can make losers bitter, but they make winners better. And I said, we just got to hold true. We are really a pretty doggone good team, and we just got to keep that chip and keep plugging away because nothing's going to be given. But I said, you can't let Maryland beat you a couple times, at practice today or preparing for Illinois. So I like what I've been seeing, and this is going to be a good test for them.
Yeah, it seems like this team, though, will take that attitude and put it behind them and move forward confidently.
Yeah. They really will. My thing is just, the freshmen that's the confidence piece. They're when they're naive and they're just playing. Now they're starting to understand it a little bit. So I'm trying to get them a little bit more to that newness with wide eyes. When you play with wide eyes, you're a little looser. And I want to get back to that on Thursday night.
Is it a little bit different for freshmen, young players, when you jump into conference play too, versus maybe November and December?
Very much, because there's just, usually when you get into conference play, the success you may have had in the majority of your non-conference, it doesn't work anymore. Like you might be able to drive on some people, or you might be able to, get your shot off, a little easier. Now you are facing bigger, faster, stronger, even on a team that's not the number one team in the country, right? So their eyes get bigger because they just felt a little confident, and then it's like, whoa, now I gotta do what? So there is a little bit of that, but they're also a pretty good group, and they got a good little swag about them. I just got to make sure I fan that swag on Wednesday. Tomorrow that they have off. We practice today. They have off tomorrow, and then we'll go get back at it Wednesday.
And then scouting reports too can be a little bit different too than playing just one team maybe once every 5 years.
That's the hard thing. I mean, you give them. This is like about a 15-page. Scouting report, and what they might be playing, their position against Maryland, it's completely different, and the number's different. So you might be going over ball screens, and now you got to go under ball screens. We're switching this game. We weren't switching that game. We're going to flood this game. We're going to show this game. And for a freshman, it's like, what? I don't even know what that means, right? I just stayed in the paint if I was a post player. So it's a lot, and usually when you're non-conference, it's not quite as complicated. Now you're playing teams. I mean, we're playing Final Four caliber coaches and teams every other night, and the complexity of which you're asking them to guard and how they have to score, it goes from second gear to, like in Maryland's case, it's in overdrive.
We'll see you in Champaign.
That sounds great, and thanks for all the Hawk fans. God bless. Go Iowa.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening. We'll talk Thursday from Illinois. Fran McCaffrey Show is next.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list: clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
People are having a hard time containing their excitement about the new Holiday Scratch and Instaplay tickets from the Iowa Lottery.
Holiday tickets? I love these!
Especially when they find out you can win part of over $1 million in second chance cash prizes when you enter any holiday ticket in the Iowa Lottery's VIP club.
$1 million? Woohoo!
Yes, woohoo indeed. Cash prizes are coming to town from the Iowa Lottery.
Woohoo!
See rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Not all internet is created equal. It's a lot like choosing a quarterback. Technically, you could sign up any new rookie provider on the block, but the success of every device in your home depends on it. Will they perform in the clutch, or will they buffer under pressure? Extreme provides the speed you need with a 100% gigabit technology network and amplified Wi-Fi. And unlike signing a quarterback, Extreme Internet requires no contracts. There's only one pick to lead your team. It's Extreme, powered by MediaCom.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides the direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oak Knoll is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, this has been Hawk Talk with Jensen, presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Also brought to you by 988. There is hope with a 988 Lifeline. Call or text 988 for free, 24/7. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Honda. To see how Honda crushes the competition, see your Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest. Powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Oak Knoll, an active life care community. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.